Hey, welcome back to Talk Dealership Service. My name is Dale, and we've been talking about this episode probably for the last week. I've been teasing you a little bit on Facebook. What are we going to talk about? Dealership Service Advisor pay plans. Whether you're looking at commission, base plus commission, or some hybrid thereof. What do we need to have an effective pay plan that drives the goals that we're looking for in our dealership? If that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. All right, here we go. Pay plans are probably one of the most difficult things when you're either trying to motivate your service staff or you're trying to recruit somebody that you feel like might be a top candidate, but you just don't know exactly what their buttons are as they relate to the vision you have for your own service department. So let's kind of unpack this and see what we've got. I put on there, commission versus base plus commission versus hybrid. What you got to decide as a manager or a dealer or a GM is what your vision and goal for your service department is. If your store or your manufacturer has got like President's Award, Pinnacle Awards, or whatever the upper echelon award is for your manufacturer, maybe that's your goal, is to attain that pinnacle of service. And if it is, then we want to build that into a pay plan. Maybe your goal is simply just to drive sales, drive gross, and retain as many customers as you possibly can, and expand that service experience. If that's the case, then we might look more at commission or base plus commission. One of the things that I'm often asked is you want a pay plan that motivates, but you don't necessarily want a pay plan that creates a toxic environment or backstabbing or whatever, if you will. I'm probably going to surprise you a little bit here because some of the most profitable service departments in America, they probably have a little bit of a toxic environment. But the difference is the hiring element of who you've got. Truett Cathy, who is the senior founder of Chick-fil-A, says, don't train people to be nice, hire nice people. Well, in the service advisor position, service advocate position, we want to make sure that we're hiring people that are going to give excellent customer service regardless who wrote that repair order. They're not going to just let somebody stand around because it's innate in them to make sure that customer gets taken care of. Some people are just driven that way. So when you talk about backstabbing or a toxic work environment, hey, let the competition be what the competition is. And as long as you've got people that are so customer driven, I really wouldn't give it a whole lot of thought. I would rather manage somebody that's extremely customer driven than I would manage somebody that's rather lackadaisical or just doesn't really seem to care, because you're not going to motivate that person no matter what. So here we go. Base. If you're looking at base plus commission, what is your goal? If you give somebody a base plus a small commission, obviously you get to control the pace of their income. What do I mean by that? If you give somebody, we'll make up a number, a $3,000 a month guarantee plus 1.5% of, say, the gross that they write, maybe that comes out to be $4,000. But what it does is, regardless how high they go, they're never going to exceed a certain point. Sure, that 1.5 is unlimited, but the capacity that your shop has a limit itself. That works good for people that really want I don't want to use the word a guaranteed income. They want to know where their money's coming from. They know that they need X amount of money to pay their bills, and that's their comfort zone, is that base plus a small commission. I don't advocate for that, but again, if you've got a top recruit out there and that's the way they want to be paid, and their potential to give fantastic customer service, so be it. It's highly possible in a larger service environment, you might have 3, 4, 5, 6 advisors, and they may all have different pay plans. So don't feel like that you got to go, okay, well, I got to make this the same for everybody. I wouldn't worry about that, because it goes back to that toxic competitive environment. No matter what pay plan you create, within minutes, it's not going to be a secret anyway. So you can do what you want with that. So what's the advantage of commission only? That's where I like to work. That's the atmosphere I want to work in. I was driven. I didn't mind getting to the dealership at 5:30 or 6 a.m. and getting all the night drops. I didn't mind staying late if I knew somebody was coming. I didn't mind stopping by on Sunday, getting the drop-offs for the weekend. I didn't mind any of that, because I knew that I was going to be the best service advisor that could possibly, and I wanted a commission only. So what does that look like? I have seen dealerships, and when I say I've seen, probably over the last week, and the reason it took me a little longer to come up with this video is because I've been talking to people that I've kind of gained connection and relationships with over the last probably 25 years. And when we've started looking at how we pay people, so two things. When it comes to commission only, and let's just say you've got 3+ advisors. I'm not going to say you got one, but let's just say 3+. You can pay somebody maybe a higher percentage off of what they write, and maybe a smaller percentage off of the totality of the dealership, and maybe that will inspire each to work together, maybe more so than they normally would have. I've seen commission plans anywhere from 5% of the gross somebody writes, and 1 to 1.5% of what the team writes. And I've seen it maybe nothing that the team writes, and 6 to 7% of what just the advisor writes. You can get this as crazy and extreme as you want. And as long as your advisor is motivated and driven, and they have your customer's best interest at heart, then I don't know that it hurts. Now, as a dealer or a GM, some people say the downside to commission only is the sky's the limit. The upside to commission only for the advisor is the sky's the limit, because I want people that are going to shoot for the stars and hit the moon. And if that's what you want, then probably a commission only is the way to go. Now, again, it's up to you if you want to structure it in such a way that you only pay off what an advisor writes, or if you pay off what an advisor writes plus a small commission off what the other people write. Now, I also mentioned hybrid pay plans, and I want to talk about that in a minute, because especially over the last 18 months, as not only the industry has evolved, but the psychology of the employee has evolved. We've seen so many dynamics over the last few months, simply with COVID. Now, all of a sudden, you see signs everywhere, hiring, and your first thought is nobody wants to work. I don't think that's the case. You know, in my era, when I grew up, we focused more on our work. We worked hard to have a life outside of work. Now people are looking more for freedom, and they want their work to reflect their ability to have some freedom too. So you might have to look at hybrid pay plans, and what do I mean by that? Well, it might be that you're doing 3 12-hour days, 4 10-hour days. People want more time off. You might have to create service advisor teams or shop teams or lateral support groups. You really have got to start thinking outside the box a little bit to hire the people that have the psychology of today. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just an evolution. And so often in the car business, people, they're slow to evolve, slow to change. Well, I'm challenging you now to be on the front end of that. You know, again, if you've got somebody that's a top recruit, then the 12-hour a day grind 6 days a week, might not attract that person no matter how much money you throw at them. So when I talk about hybrid, it might be that one of the offers you have is, again, a shortened work week, longer hours, and it might take a team environment to come up with that. But the thing I'm trying to say here is be willing to listen to that. Because again, you got 3, 4, 5, 6 plus service advisors. Everybody doesn't have to be the same. And if you want a cookie cutter approach in your shop, you're probably missing out on a whole heck of a lot of opportunity. Because times are different. Thank goodness. Our industry is evolving fast, but we're evolving so darn slow that people aren't giving us a look, because now we can go, oh man, but the car industry, you can make so much money. And a lot of today's people are going, okay, I can make a lot of money, but I'd rather have freedom more than have money. So it's something to think about. So kind of putting all this together, people ask Dale, what does Dale think? What would you do? I'm going to have a lot of weapons in my arsenal. And when I'm sitting down interviewing a potential candidate, I'm going to pull out what I feel like best suits the person that's sitting in front of me. I'm not going to be tied to a cookie cutter approach to pay people simply because that methodology and that old thinking doesn't work and it's not going to serve you in the future. So just think that as you're interviewing somebody, you're finding their hot buttons, you determine this is somebody that you definitely want on your team, then you got to tailor that plan to their vision and goal for their life. Now, I've saved this final nugget in this for Ford. It's called the President's Award. Whatever the pinnacle for your manufacturer is when it comes to customer service. Personally, I like focusing on customer service. I like probably 60 to 70% of all of the pay to be commission driven, and then a bonus for customer service. And that would obviously be whatever your manufacturer has established. And I'm using this weird, silly analogy. I know over the last several months, every dealer in America has made good money, probably more so than any time in the history of the automotive business. Well, those days are really coming to a close pretty dadgum fast. So what has happened over the last 18 months is more of an anomaly than it is the future of the way things are going to be. I don't think they're going to be that way. So we've got to start looking at how do we want to create a customer experience that sustains us. A lot of people in the last 2 years have bought cars, and they've paid premium for the used cars. So the trade cycle that used to be 2 years might have just gotten stretched out to 3 or 4 years. So you might see fewer people on the sales floor, but more people in fixed ops. So we really got to make sure that we're driving our pay plan to reflect 5-star customer service experience. If that's what you want, then pay for the experience. I know in Ford, GM, Chrysler, Fiat, the average service advisor probably gets 5 to 15 surveys back a month. We obviously want to increase that, but think about this, and this is going to sound crazy, it may even sound high, but if you're paying your advisors, say $100 for a perfect 5 score, perfect 5, and you had 15 of them, that's $1,500. I'm totally cool with that. And I'm even an advocate of if somebody gets something that's anything less than 5, 4.9, anything less than 5, you penalize them $50. So that's another tool in your arsenal is how do I pay for CSI and how do I penalize for CSI that's not perfect? At the end of the day, 5 stars is all that matters. Top score is everything. And a lot of advisors go, well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. The score is the score is the score. At the end of the day, it might have been the shop that didn't deliver. It might have been a porter that made somebody mad. Totally irrelevant. If you build your pay plan with a CSI element over a course of time, the weak players are going to fall off and the strong players are going to get stronger. And next thing you're going to know, you're going to be looking down the road and go, holy cow, what a strong team I've got. People with a vision to be the best they can be. I use sports analogy some, and I could use this one. The Los Angeles Lakers, they make great money. They hadn't won a championship in a while, but they make good money. But the people that own the Lakers, all they want is one thing. They want the freaking national championship. So there might be people in your dealership, or maybe even you as a service advisor, going, yeah, but we're making money. Okay, you're making money. But as this market keeps shifting and you haven't done everything you can do to give your customer a 5-star experience, then I got a feeling it's short-lived. All right. That's enough for this segment. Now I want to hear from you. So we've talked about commission, base plus commission, hybrid, CSI. We've talked about toxic work environments. We've talked about a lot of things that drive how you build a service advisor pay plan. Now I want to know from you what your actual service drive pay plan looks like. All right, that's enough for Talk Dealership Service. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. Hope you'll give me some feedback. Follow us on our Facebook page. I'll link that down below. And until next week, look forward to seeing you again soon.